To married couples that have been together for 10 years, what's your secret? Story 1. Communication. I cannot possibly stress this enough. If you take nothing else away from the various comments, this is the most important. Another good one, you're likely not always going to feel in love. Not sure how else to word it. There are always going to be highs and lows in a relationship, but you shouldn't confuse a general feeling of contentment as a low just because you aren't feeling madly in love all the time. It's hard to put into words for me, but it's like just existing together in the same place is fine, even if that time is months long. The fact you two can just sort of be together and content is good. Some people think you always need to have that in love feeling, but that really isn't true in a good long-term relationship. I might be saying this badly, as I said, not great with words. Also really helps to have downtime things to enjoy. Just simple things like reading a book in the same room as your partner and idly petting their leg or something is a nice way to have simple intimacy. Speaking of downtime, also having at least one hobby that the other isn't part of is a good thing. It gives you time to not always be on top of each other during every activity, and it's lots of fun to show off whatever you're doing to your partner. I've been with my wife for 22 years come this December. We're basically best friends, and I can't even imagine my life without her. Answer, I describe it like a fire. Young people expect fireworks. Bright, powerful, lighting up the whole night. But fireworks don't last long. A lasting marriage is a campfire. It's not as shiny, not as overwhelming, but tend it well and your campsite will be well lit and warm all night. And it'll fluctuate, it'll flare up bright, it'll burn down to coals, but it's still going strong. Story 2. Be each other's cheerleader. Be the person that has their partner's back. Be the person that believes in the other. Be the person to give that boost and have confidence in them. Cheer them on when they try new things that they are nervous about. Being a parent, new job, moving to a new city. Be the one that says, you got this. I know you will do great. Story 3. It's not bullshit when they say marry your best friend. You're going to dislike this person sometimes. But if in the midst of that annoyance only they can bring, if they can also make you break and laugh, that's one to hold on to. Also have the big discussions long before marriage even is considered. Financial goals, children, monogamy, religion. There's no reason to ever be surprised by those things. Story 4. I married my best friend. We are friends in daily life. We enjoy each other's company. We laugh often. We both are really easygoing, no drama type of people. Simple pleasures in life give us joy. We are kind to each other and very much in love. We never had children, so that takes a stress factor out of the equation. We both have familiar love languages in that we value time spent together and don't care much about gift giving. Story 5. 24 years here. You have to actually like each other a lot. This seems obvious to some people, but you would be surprised how often one half of the relationship actively dislikes their significant other. There has to be things both of you look up to in one another. Getting to a place of secure attachment, you don't have to be there when you get married, but you do need to actively work towards it. Therapy, equity. You may have different strengths, but being good at cooking or budgeting doesn't mean those things fall all on you all the time, forever. No weaponized incompetence. Don't let your significant other carry the entire mental load. Honor unseen labor. Don't assume stereotypical gender roles. Cultivate an amazing bedside manner that fulfills your significant other's needs during times of physical, mental, or emotional distress. When one partner cares well for the other, but the opposite isn't true, it's deeply heartbreaking for the giver who never gets. Separate blankets in bed. Communicate clearly and vulnerably about your intimacy needs, desires, fantasies, etc. Don't be offended by being guided. Don't be scared to tell them what you need. Don't say stuff like, I'd do anything for her, and then refuse to put the toilet seat down or make dinner a few times a week. Love them accurately. Story 6. Marry someone who shares your values. The most important thing to remember is that there is no winners in an argument. You also need to practice active listening and not just wait for your turn to talk. Always surprise with random flowers or whatever you notice interests them. For this, you also need to pay attention so you can get them what they really want instead of what you think they want. Pretty simple. And never leave the house apartment without saying I love you, because someday you won't have that chance ever again. Peace. Story 7. Not married, but have been together for over 20 years. We love each other company and truly each other's best friend. Always try to help each other out. We rarely get mad in general and forget the things that don't matter. All this and no kids, which really helps, haha. Story 8. Marry someone based on how honest, loyal, and hardworking they are, and you had better be just as good in all three. As the years pass, how far off the life compass is for the two of you will determine how successful you are as a couple. If you aren't willing to make sacrifices to align your life goals together, it's only going to cause regular conflict. I've been married for a little over 10 years, and I don't see anything as only my success or reward. It's always ours. All of my life goals are something we both will benefit from and keeps me focused on keeping our long-term success in alignment. Story 9. Communication. Communicate until you think you got your point across, then check in, communicate some more. Over-communication is a good problem to have. There's an example we got during marriage counseling that we continue to joke about. It's called, "Honey, I sold the house." My pastor had a couple where the wife came home one day to a for sale sign in the yard. She walks into the kitchen. Her husband says, "Hey, honey, I sold the house." Turns out the husband got a new job across the country, sold their house to move. The wife did not know about the new job, or that he was selling the house in the first place, or that they were moving. Don't be like that. Inform your partner of your mental status emotions. Work changes, intimacy, desires, dreams, crappy days, pain and pleasures. Because we aren't mind readers, your partner really does not know what you're thinking. Story 10. Something I don't quite see articulated often, though I do see some similar in the comments here. I'm 100 in her corner. She is my bestie. Her interests are my interests. I see couples that prank each other or take it too far or slag on each other or similar. We don't do any of that. I'm her ride or die. I would never do or say anything differently if she was around or not. So I guess it's just a level of respect and love on the absolute highest levels. Story 11. Some already stated. 1. Marry your friend or make them your friend before marriage. Keep them as a friend after marriage. 2. Laugh, tease kindly, joke around, be silly. 3. Have lots of intimacy. I think intimacy is an intimacy recharge. 4. Fight nice. No insults, little to no yelling. 5. Don't hold grudges, perceived insults. In a disagreement, keep to one issue at a time. 6. Do more than half of the work. You'll think you are doing seen, but there is a lot of little tasks that are not seen. 7. Make sure you have one-on-one low to no distraction time. Close the phone, computer, etc. Talk. 8. Make major decisions together. Family, financial, etc. Story 12. Don't expect them to change who they are. Accept that they will have flaws, and that so do you. Love them anyway. OBV, not excusing abuse or cheating or whatever. But like people are quirky and sometimes those quirks get annoying. Remind yourself that you love them anyway. Story 13. Realize that when you have a disagreement, you have a choice. You can fight about who was wrong or right, or you can attack the actual problem as a team. It's a big mindset shift to make the problem the bad guy instead of the other person being bad. Also go into it with the intent of navigating life and growing together. It's not my life or her life, it's our life. Married 13 years, if anyone was going to ask. Story 14. Treating each other like you are on a team. I'm always on my spouse's side. It's us against the world. Being friends, treating marriage like 100-100 instead of 50-50, and marrying someone who feels similarly. Doing random acts of kindness for each other. Forgiving each other. Everyone brings baggage into the relationship. Communication. Dividing tasks that each other is good at. Allowing each spouse time to pursue their own goals while also contributing to the marriage. Talking out conflicts. Letting the other spouse win sometimes. Going on dates. Realizing that working on the marriage never ends. Story 15. I've been married for 10 years as of this summer, and honestly, I don't know. My husband is my favorite person, and I get to spend more time with him than anyone else. Everyone talks about how hard marriage is, and so far, I feel like I'm still waiting to find out what's so hard about it. Like, yeah, we've had rougher times, but we love each other, so we are kind to each other and trust each other. The small stuff doesn't bother me because I fully trust he loves me and has good intentions, whatever the situation is. Story 16. We've been married 2 years, but together for 13. I think it comes down to a few things. There is this idea that couples think they should test their relationship and test themselves and each other through temptation and flirting with other men or women. The opposite is true. If you really love someone, you don't put yourself in situations where if you get in an argument with your partner, you run to another man or woman who you have an attraction to and confide all this negative shoot about your partner to them. Online, by text, or in person, ever. You don't go hang out and drink with them while complaining about your partner for emotional support. You also don't flirt in person or text with anyone you are attracted to and would want to date, fudge, or be in a romantic relationship with if you were both of available. Doing stuff like that is setting the stage for cheating or lining the next one up. It just is. If you know your partner would be unhappy about you talking to someone, there is a reason for that. And if you feel all protective of this other man, woman, and your close friendship and find yourself hiding the relationship or conversely fighting with your partner over the relationship, then you aren't ready to be married because you are setting the next one up or the affair or drunken mistake up actively. Also, for a happy relationship and marriage, your partner should be your best friend. If you don't have that dynamic, then what are you even doing getting married to them? To be happily married, you should love your partner so much that you would never do something to hurt them or betray their trust. That includes free one-night intimacy passes for your celebrity of choice. Why? Because one of you might choose someone within reach who it could really happen with. Or the celebrity you pick just happens to look like a woman you work with. Or the delivery driver who you flirt with every couple days when they come to your door just happens to look like this once in a lifetime. Free pass. Also, before getting married, ask yourself if you will still love and physically, financially, emotionally take care of your partner if they lose a leg, go blind, or get an incurable disease that leaves them bedbound for years. Don't marry someone who, if they lose their aesthetics, you lose all interest in them. Only marry the person you are willing to ride or die for. Story 17. You both made a promise. Divorce isn't in the cards. Work out your differences. It's you and her versus the problems, not you versus her. And if there are kids involved, man, think of the kids. They need two strong parents to be loving and caring to each other and to them. Story 18. 3 things. Communication is key. Trust, healthy intimacy. Life been with my husband for 15 years. When we have an issue or disagreement, we talk about it immediately instead of letting things build up. We also pick our battles. Not every annoyance needs a sit down. We trust each other and have loyalty to one another. Friend fudge me over. Best believe he cuts them off. Never once has given me the slightest indication he was ever interested in someone else. We agreed a long time ago, if either of us ever felt unhappy, to end it and never cheat. Good sexy time is a must. My husband works nights and I work days. We have 2 kids. We always make time at least 3 to 4 times a week. I think it's important for connection. Story 19. People who say marriage is hard married the wrong person. Life is hard, and the person you marry shouldn't be making it harder. They should be helping you through it, and it should go both ways. Every couple argues, but if they're devastating fights, know when to walk away. Find someone you genuinely enjoy being around, who makes your life easier and makes you a better person. Be sure they enjoy being around you, that you make their life easier, and that you make them a better person. Naturally, not that you go in trying to change them. Don't settle for someone you don't like just because you don't want to be alone or are desperate to get married, start a family. Story 20. Our finances are separate. We do have a joint account for shared bills like the mortgage and utilities, but other than that, we each keep what we earn and spend as we see fit. We never fight about money, which means we rarely fight about anything. Bliss. Story 21. Lol, 10 years is such a low bar. Holy shoot, that makes me so sad. This isn't going to work for everyone, but we trust each other 100 and give each other complete financial freedom to do what we want with money. No asking for permission, no snooping on each other, no joint accounts. If one person wants some money transferred over to cover half of a bill or something, that happens without any investigation. We'll ask each other how much stuff costs out of curiosity, but it's never to judge or disapprove of. That sort of freedom is so much fun. I can pursue whatever hobbies I want, and she can purchase whatever things she feels she wants. We both trust that the other person isn't an idiot with money, and we also try to not actually be idiots with money. Story 22. Find someone you can communicate through conflict with respect and adoration. Life is full of challenges, but those things are easily navigated when you're spending it with someone you truly admire. My husband and I are going on 13 years married, and as corny as it is, I love him more now than I ever have. We have grown together and struggled together, but I know every day, even on the worst ones, my life is still infinitely better with him as a part of it. Story 23. Too pig-headed to leave, both of us. Seriously though, we signed up for life. If the attitude is right, you can address issues. If the idea of divorce is not even an option, then working on fixing issues as opposed to quitting or running from them just makes sense. There are exceptions, of course, however, for us at 30 years, we're too set in our ways to change. Story 24. Communication, compatibility, adaptability, shared goals, listening to each other, no right fighting, kindness, shared chores, support each other's needs, no looking for affection, connection outside the marriage, and mutual respect. I've been married to my best friend for 37 years. together for 40. We're now grandparents and still in love. We've had our ups and downs, but we've never been mean to each other, and we went to counseling when we needed it. Story 25. I see a lot of stupid relationship advice on Reddit that is usually divorce them, leave them, etc. My husband's mom keeps farting near me, and he is allowing it. Divorce him. My wife talks to other men right in front of me. She's cheating, bro, etc., etc. Sometimes it's appropriate, but most of the time, it's stuff that can be worked out by one. Don't assume the worst. Talk with maturity. And directly if a behavior isn't working for you. Say what you mean and try to be aware when you are being emotionally manipulative. 4. Literally no human on this earth is perfect, you included. Have some grace for each other. You will inevitably fudge up, and so will they. If you're someone who wants a 20-year marriage that isn't a prison sentence, then you have to be kind, forgiving, willing to have difficult conversations, and ready to always keep growing as a person. Also, everyone needs to read Shel Silverstein's The Missing Piece. Story 26. Just being compatible. It's really that simple. We care about the same things and don't care about the same things. Our priorities match. What I struggle with, he's good at, and vice versa. We appreciate and understand rather than tolerate each other's quirks or sore spots. I've been with people I have a lot more shared interests with. We may have shared a sense of humor and been able to talk about everything, but we weren't compatible because even though I thoroughly enjoyed their company, I need a lot of independence and alone time, and they didn't like that. Or we required different levels and types of communication. There's a difference between having a lot in common and actually being compatible. Story 27. Genuinely like each other. Be best friends, be courteous, and care more about each other than you care about being right. My husband and I still say please and thank you multiple times a day, apologize to each other regularly, and conflicts or arguments are about understanding each other rather than winning. We're both first responders, so give each other shoot and curse regularly. I've called him a motherfucker more times than I can count, but there is zero name-calling or insulting each other out of anger. And if the joking goes too far or hits a sore spot, we immediately let the other know, and they immediately apologize and don't do it again. All of that has seen us through intense sleep deprivation, insane schedules, family deaths, and heinous calls. He's my teammate first and lover second. It's always us against the crazy shoot life throws at us, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Story 28. My husband and I don't spend 90 of our day together, but we can also spend 2 weeks traveling across country, talking to no one else, driving in a car, and be completely happy there too. The secret is to just choose someone whom you want to build a life with and all that comes with that. I decided that I should also tell you that we have been married or will be married this year on New Year's Eve, 33 years. Story 29. Don't forget they are a person first, a spouse second. People have bad day, people have good days. People get sick, gain weight, lose weight. It's not always 50-50. Sometimes it's 80-20. 9 to 10 days it will be a 1,000. That's okay. Some days they will not want to get out of bed and you will carry 100% of the load. Other days the opposite. That's life. If you don't handle it well, 3 things will ruin your marriage: intimacy, money, and kids are the top 3 things people fight about when those fights arise. Be open-minded. From the husband, perimenopause is rough. Be patient. It will get better. Story 30. I married my best friend. We still go on dates. Nothing extravagant or anything. Sometimes just burgers and shakes. We have dinner as a family every night at 6 p.m. at the dining table. No screens allowed. We work as a team. It's 1,100. When we have our off days, we know what the other needs. He likes to be cuddled, and I like to be left alone. We never fight. I take care of all the bills and handle our budget. He fixes everything inside and outside of the house. Inside, I do most of it, except he cleans up dinner with our son. I cook everything unless my son wants to. He works days and I work nights, so dinner is really important as it's our family time together every night. Story 31. Respect and trust. I have in almost 30 years never looked at my husband's phone to snoop. Understand your partner, meaning know who she is and like them and love them for who they are. Going into it thinking you can change them will never work. And we always have made our relationship more important than any other. Story 32. And have some different hobbies. I ski, she doesn't. Used to be a big paintball player as well. She went to some tournaments of mine, but didn't like the scene as much as I did. It's okay to have different interests and be apart for a while. 25 years strong and still going. Story 33. 1. Pick your battles. 2. Never, and I mean never, assume how your partner will react. If you think your partner is going to overreact to something, let them, and then call them out on it. Do not go down the road of, well, I was going to, but you always do X, Y, and Z. Story 34. We've been married 33 years. We're in our late 50s and early 60s. We've both worked from home for 26 years, and our secret is that we really like each other. We have a great relationship. She's my best friend. This helps keep everything. Every morning, without fail, I wake up with a smile and tell her how much I adore her and that it's going to be a good day. Then I relentlessly bug her to come to the kitchen and get coffee with me, even though I know she likes to lay in bed for a half hour and catch up on the news. One time when I wanted to sleep in, she called me a rotten potato. So now I try and find new ways to accuse her of being stinky at least once a week, calling her a rotten potato. We joke about things all the time. So whenever we find some word or pet name that we find funny, we'll drive that motherfucker into the ground, calling other that. We watched that Apple TV show Platonic, and there's this bit where Seth Rogen and his new wife weirdly call each other Penguini, so that's our current one. It's relentless, but the thing is that we love the game. The best parts are when you suddenly remember some word or name we used years ago and work that into the conversation, and it's like when comedians will drop callbacks, we just giggle and it makes us feel closer than ever. Our kids love to see us happy and in love after all these years, and it makes us happy to see them feel secure and loved. Also, the intimacy is pretty good too. Story 35. Engaged, my partner and I have been together almost 12 years. Stop keeping score. You did the dishes? Great. You did the grocery shopping? Awesome. Did yard work? Wonderful. Keeping score will eat your relationship alive. We all have periods of time where we are super motivated and times where we struggle getting out of bed. If you feel you are doing more work, talk about it instead of keeping score and resenting each other. Story 36. Married 35 years. We don't often like each other. We're not always friends, let alone best friends. We love each other very, very much, and we take care of each other. We have 6 children, but there is nothing physically romantic about our relationship anymore. There doesn't need to be. We are just fully committed to each other. Getting old is not easy. Story 37. Commit. If divorce is an option, then it's not going to work. It's till passing do you part, or else you become just another statistic. Communicate. Don't avoid conflict. Resolve it. It's not you versus your spouse. It's both of you versus the problem. And never lie to your spouse. Copulate. You got to give each other orgasms regularly. Intimacy compatibility is an internet myth. Don't be selfish. Don't just do it when you want to. Give good intimacy to your spouse. If you're selfless and committed, then you'll be able to be intimacy fulfilling to each other. Cohabitate. 2 lives become one. Don't try to live like you're single. Combine your finances. It's not her money and my money, it's our money. Our shared wealth, our shared values, our shared vision of the future. If you can't commit to all of those things, then you shouldn't get married. Story 38. 2 incomes and separate bank accounts work great for us. A partnership built on balance and teamwork. We share home and parenting responsibilities equally, stepping in for each other without resentment or keeping score. We make decisions with our family's best interest in mind, always supporting each other's growth. Married for 13 years, parents to 2 amazing kids. Story 39. Married 11 years, together 16 years. We started out as friends, then we grew closer and started dating. We've had our ups and downs, but overall, I wouldn't trade my best friend for anyone in the world. And I mean it. She was my rock when my dad died. I was her rock when her dad died. We stayed up together after our garage burned to the ground. I held her hair while she puked. Story 40. Communication. Don't go to bed angry. It's fine to go to bed irritated, but don't go to bed without actually getting things stable. Like others said, actually like the person, not only romantically, but as a person, a friend. You want to actually hang out with that person. Trust. Story 41. 12 years married. Relationships are not easy. They're a lot of work. These are my top 3. 1, it's us against the world, not us against each other. 2, both people in the relationship have to give 103. When things get hard, you still have to pick each other. My husband and I had some hard conversations shortly after we started dating. He's the better communicator, so he started the convos. Lay everything on the table. Life goals, family values, faith, money issues, debt goals, etc. Kids want no want. Picking a spouse is one of the most important decisions you can make. They can make or break you. Story 42. My husband and I have been together for 10 years, married for 8. We waited a bit before actually getting married. We knew each other for 2 years before getting together. We met in college. We don't give a fudge about either of us getting mad during a fight. We work shootout and don't leave anything unresolved if we can. Compromise, communication. We are a team, and even if we argue, we always remember that we're not the enemy of the other. Story 43. Acceptance of each other's flaws is essential. You should be friends first. He's my best friend and knows weird things about me that I never share with anyone else. It's the same with him. If we disagree about something at home cleaning or whatever, we talk it out. We acknowledge each other's emotional response and, of course, always share a hug. If we're disrespectful, we address it immediately and then hug even if we're still angry. It might sound strange, but I set that rule at the start of our relationship. We have to hug each other even when we're mad. It diffuses the situation from building. What I've learned is that men always have an inner child. It never goes away, and that's where their innocence lies. As much as I can be serious, he brings lightness and can see the logic in situations where my emotions might otherwise cloud things. That sense of playfulness lightens our relationship. If a man doesn't have an inner child, the relationship can become too serious, always on edge, never truly honest or open. But if the guy is totally a man-child who can't do anything for himself, that's a problem that needs to be addressed. There's always a caveat. Story 44. I think it's possible it could be different for everyone. I'm not at all sure about this theory, but I feel like you need to decide what you need from the other person to be in it for the long haul and then find that person. On paper, my husband and I shouldn't work. We have no shared hobbies, very different upbringing, etc., but I admire him as a person so deeply, and I think it's mutual because we seem to be still so madly in love with each other even after 25 years. Then again, maybe love is undefinable, and that's why it's the enduring topic in movies and books even today. Who knows? Story 45. I think it starts with good compatibility. Many people seek out someone who is just like them and they have so much in common with. And of course, that can be important with big topics and morals. But when it comes to interests and personality types, I feel like the differences between my husband and I are what make it work. I push where he pulls. I'm the wild and carefree to his steady and careful. I bring the adventure. Literally, my job is responsible for 90 of the traveling we've done, and he brings the stability. Although we both have the same core values, we have different hobbies, taste in music, movies, and personalities. We balance each other out. I don't expect him to fulfill every desire in my life. I make plans with my friends to do the things he doesn't enjoy, and I make sure he gets his own time to fill his cup doing the things he loves. We don't try to mold each other to fit into the same box. Next month will be 18 years together. Might not be as many as some here, but we are only in our mid-30s, so we made it through a lot of growing and formative years. Story 46. Marry someone you really love, someone smart, because she's going to learn everything about investing and finances. And you are going to absorb the info through osmosis. Also, never get complacent. Always keep improving yourself, how you do things, how you show up. Fighting is good. That means both of you care. Being nasty and calling each other names is not good. Don't do that. Find hobbies together. Overblown to have your own hobbies. We both work from home and do hobbies together and spend $247, and we never get tired of each other. But that also means there is more chances one of us does something that pisses the other one off. So advantages and disadvantages. We ski, horse riding, paddleboarding, domestic and international travel. Making memories is more important than things you buy. Story 47. Honestly, I feel like the time that we are apart, which can be a lot with long work hours, makes the time we do get to spend together so much more important. We also don't have kids, so I'm sure that takes a lot of stress out of the equation. It's not perfect. We fight. He forgot my birthday this year. I have a spicy temper, but we built a life together. It's too important to me to just let all that shoot go to waste. Marriage is fudge hard, but I know I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else. Story 48. Communication, silent and vocal. That includes the unsaid love language of your significant other. When I hear her say, "You haven't even touched my butt in a couple days," she is not so subtlety telling me, even though you don't need physical connection, I do. I'm up at 5 a.m. and not home until 5 p.m. I just want to be left alone, usually LOL. 18 years, 3 kids, and countless arguments. There will be so many arguments. Learn to compromise. You are a team. You don't need to win anything. Story 49. When I met my future husband, I had finally figured out what I wanted from life in a partner. I didn't settle. I made it clear from the get-go the sort of person I was looking for, and he did the same with me. Lots of honesty and lots of letting shoot go. We've been married for almost 21 years. It's not perfect, but it's very nice. Story 50. Marry someone that you can shoot your pants with while laughing because you both have a stomach virus and just wind up laughing at shoot your pants. This is to mean be with someone who makes you laugh and you can make laugh. Life is hard, but if you can laugh through the terrible times, it makes it so much better. If someone had seen me tonight, they would have thought he was abusing me because I was in a ball on the floor in the kitchen crying, but I was laughing so hard I crumbled to the floor and couldn't stop laughing. We've been together for 23 years, since I was 20 and he was 24. Story 51. Trying to consolidate a lot of comments. Communication is the most important. Be friends' best friends. Never stop being polite. Never stop doing the little things. No secrecy, attempts to control, or having things off limits, nor judging the other. Lots of laughter among some people. Separate beds, bathrooms. Story 52. I haven't found it myself, but I can tell you from the healthy relationships I have been around. Some of the qualities I have found: 1, opposites do attract, and if you find the right north to your south, you will fit like a glove and be best friends. Willingness to change and grow. Stagnation will lead to resentment. Patience and forgiveness. Story 53. My dad told me a long time ago, never stop dating. I took this sentiment to mean bring your best self to the relationship always, and also flirt and keep it fun. There's no reason to stop trying to surprise, impress, and support your spouse just because you're married. Story 54. Don't shut down. Don't do the silent treatment. Don't refuse to talk about something even when you're overwhelmed by emotion. Don't walk out of the house mad. Don't threaten to leave. Don't have an exit plan for your marriage. Stay and listen. Own up to your wrongs during the fight. Apologize for being an a-hole when you were one. Accept the apology from your spouse when they offer one. And never bring up an old fight. Oh, and have the same bank account. Or if you have several, give your spouse full access to all of them. It's the same money. Married for 12 years and still with no exit strategy. We are in this until one of us dies. At this point, the divorce would be such a mess. There would be no way we could. Story 55. We both had great chemistry and knew we neither wanted to have to date ever again. We were friends for a few years before we got married, and then we lived in Guam for a few years, so we really relied on each other. We're both homebodies and don't mind just sitting together doing our own thing. We try to be interested in each other's hobbies enough to listen when the other wants to talk about one of those hobbies, even if it's not our thing. Similar interests in a lot of stuff helps too. Going on 13 years this December, and we've got 3 great kids too. Story 56. Be a generous person and marry a generous person. Generous with their resources, with their time and their talents and their love. If one person is generous and the other one tends to be greedy, it doesn't work. You both have to be generous deep down in your heart. Story 57. Patience with each other. We're still 2 human beings at the end of the day, and sometimes I can be in a better place than her, and sometimes it's the other way around. And when either of us have been in the dark places where we couldn't be reached, we were patient and waited for as long as it took. So far, we've always made it out of the darkness, and now we're retired, so the lights are bright. Story 58. Mutual respect. Been together almost 16 years, married for 7. If we didn't respect each other enough to compromise and try to see things from each other's perspectives, it would never have worked. Intimacy isn't everything. Find a person you can talk to and reason with once the plumbing stops working. Story 59. Things that have worked well for us, or best advice we've been given. Communication. Learn to put your agenda on the shelf and genuinely try to hear and understand the other person. You both need to be willing to do this and take turns being able to get yourself and your feelings out of the way to find a way forward when you disagree. Personally, as far as the old don't go to bed angry thing, it's going to be different for every couple, but there are times a break from a discussion will be better and times you need to resolve it now. I'm a take a break person, and my spouse is a talk now person. So what works for us is that if we're going to come back to something after sleeping, work, whatever, we set a time to discuss so it doesn't get ignored or swept under the rug and let resentment build. A committed relationship is not always going to be 50-50. You'll go through times where one of you can't contribute equally, school, illness, work travel, etc. As long as you're both giving whatever your personal 100 is at the time, and you're willing to redistribute as things flex or have agreed to shoulder responsibility for things when if they can't ever change, e.g. caregiver after a major illness, you should be okay. A lot of nuance to this one, but for general situations lots of people go through, it's been a pretty decent metric that's helped save my sanity sometimes. I personally think love is a choice. A lot of life sucks, and parts of a long-term relationship can be really challenging or boring. Dishes every day forever. I can't explain how much it means the times I've seen my spouse choose love, choose to accept me through changes and challenges, and choose to keep trying. Story 60. Recognize that you and your spouse will change. I make the conscious decision that today I will love and cherish my wife because she is my bride. She is not the same woman I married 14 years ago, nor am I the same man. But we both work for each other and love each other. I also really like her butt. Story 61. Mutual respect. Discuss, don't argue. No one should keep score. Become more us than me. Enjoy the little things. Be the lead when need be and the follow if you need to be. Time is short. Find your joy. Enjoy your fine. We've been together 11 more years, never raised a voice. We are together all the time as we work together. Don't know what I'd do without her. Story 62. Not quite there. Married 9 years, together 11. There's a few different things. One is that he is really my best friend. Two is acknowledging that no one can give 100 all the time. Sometimes I'm giving 40 and he's giving 160 to make up for my lack and vice versa. Long-term relationships require, I wouldn't say work, but effort. To keep the spark and not feel like roommates, you have to do new things together, still date, do small things for one another, laugh together. And remember that things come in waves sometimes. Sometimes I don't feel obsessed with him, but in 4 months I will again. The biggest one that we had to learn over the first few years, is that during arguments, no one is the winner or loser. It's not a you versus your partner situation. It should be you and your partner is the problem. We also made sure that we agreed on big core things before we got serious with talks of marriage. How to parent kids, how to handle finances, just core beliefs. And again, he's just my best friend. We truly love spending time together. When he's at work, I miss him. When I think of who I want to spend time with in my free time, it's him. Even after this long and 2 kids later. Story 63. You both need to put in a 110. You don't sweat the small stuff. Give the benefit of the doubt. Forgive. Be trustworthy in all things. Be a team player, not a competitor. Do stuff together. Have similar values and goals. Even if you don't have great communication, understand that the other has and is going through some shoot too. Support each other. Try to grow as a person to be better than you were. Story 64. Be willing to compromise. Have the wisdom to wonder if it really is your fault and the strength to make a change. There's been more than a few times in a fight where I caught myself fighting because I was either mad at being wrong, upset that she was upset, or I just didn't want to admit it and say sorry. That's the wisdom part. Apologizing and seeking to understand from her perspective where I went wrong and how I can improve is the strength part. I'm still not perfect, but our fights are more like heated disagreements that are solved fairly quickly by one party realizing they either misunderstood, just didn't communicate effectively, or she's actually the one that's wrong. Story 65. When you start dating, don't try to be someone you think they'll like. Be yourself and be open to the reality that not everyone will want to date you. It makes it so much easier to date long-term if you never have to show your true self to your partner. If they know who you are from the beginning, you'll know that they actually like you as you are. Story 66. I think most of it is due to having been willing to leave okay but not amazing relationships and people until I found my absolute favorite person, the one whose flaws even are delightful to me. So dump early and often. Don't be afraid to be single or to bail due to small things. Story 67. Married 22 years and super happy and in love. I'm not sure if we have one big secret. We just really like each other and work well together. I think too many people expect to be miserable and so they settle. There's jokes about how spouses dislike each other and annoying husbands and nagging wives. So many married couples like to talk about how hard it is to be married. People have been conditioned to think it's normal to not be happy with their partner, and so they marry people they aren't really compatible with. Story 68. You need 2 things. You need to be able to be around each other 100 of the time with no problem. You also need to be able to be separated from each other with no problem. Be willing to help the other with everything. Dishes, garbage, changing diapers, cleaning toilets. Share the money, share the debt. Don't hide anything from each other. Story 69. My husband was my most favorite coworker. He was always a gentleman, charming, and so funny. When we started dating, it was so comfortable because I knew him already. I have never felt more loved by anybody else. We are retired now. A few health issues are plaguing him, but I am happy to take care of him. We've been married for 20 years, and it feels like time flew by. Story 70. Marriage is a sport. Tons of working together to find outcomes that work for both of you. Lots of compromises. Need to want to go at it together. Laughter is key, as is enjoying each other's company, but also understanding we need space, growing with each other, and truly listening and caring. Story 71. Too expensive to divorce. I have to be someone she can get along with and respect. She has to be someone I can get along with and respect. The romance does exist, but it's not what keeps you going for the long term. It's more of a mark for when you're both doing better than not, and time allows. That's me, though. We aren't well off, but we are kind, and we listen. We have frustrations and fights for sure, but knowing we are on the same team for things that matter, well, it's a lot easier to move past the things that don't. Story 72. According to research on marital satisfaction, the secret is to regulate and not show intense negative emotion during conflicts and be able to stay connected and humorous during those times. Less reactivity, voice raising, blame, harumphing, stuff like that. Story 73. Don't keep score. There are going to be times when one of you shoulders more than the other. If you've communicated about what's going on and everyone is ready and willing to keep helping each other and the family going, that does more to help keep fault lines from showing up. So many situations start from something as simple as, he never helps, or she's never able to do right. If you both stay involved and work to contribute as well as like being around each other, things are going to go well. Contempt for another person in any fashion cannot usually be recovered from. Story 74. Get comfortable with change in yourself, your partner, your trajectory, all of it. We've been married going on 11 years, together almost 20, high school sweethearts, and we have become many different people in our time together. Interests have changed, health has changed, but our love, values, and commitment to one another have kept us grounded. Story 75. Love is not a feeling. It's a choice you make every day. If I want to make sure my husband feels loved, and I gear all my actions toward that goal, it's easy to let go of little things that don't matter. Realize early on that you can't control another person no matter how hard you try or how good your intentions are. If you are doing or saying things to try to get a specific reaction from your spouse, it might work in the moment, but eventually it's going to lead to resentment. Accept that you can only control yourself and you will both be much happier. Story 76. A successful marriage is 60-40, with both partners trying to be the 60 and not resenting the other during the times they're the 40. Can't remember where I picked that up, read or heard it somewhere, but my wife and I live by it, and it serves us well. Story 77. Look, I'm terrible at marriage. I've been divorced twice, but my third husband and I have been together 11 years and we're deliriously happy. I used to fight all the time with basically any other partner I've ever had, but in 11 years, I've never really fought with my husband. We've had heated disagreements, but we always listen to each other, speak calmly, and work through things together. I couldn't do that with past partners because there was never enough trust, I guess. With my husband, I know that if he does something hurtful, he didn't intend to hurt me. I know I can tell him I'm hurt and he'll respond with kindness. We both go to therapy regularly and are good communicators. And then there's the most important thing. We really, really like each other. I can live without him. We often have occasion for solo travel. And we have social lives outside of our marriage. But I'm always happy to be together. There's never been a time where I needed to get away from him, even for a few minutes. We are both happier when we're together. But I don't force him to join me in the things I like and he doesn't, and vice versa, because we can handle being apart just fine. We never have to compromise on big things. We've been aligned in all the big picture stuff from the start. It's easy. Never wanted kids, love being aunt uncle. Want all the cats. Travel and experiences are important, and we have similar tastes. With 3 failed marriages between us, we wanted to be super prepared for our marriage to last. We didn't rush our relationship in the early stages. We both feel lucky to have each other and express our love and appreciation for each other frequently. Story 78. Actually enjoy each other's company. We do almost everything together because we have similar interests and we love doing things together. Not having kids also probably helps. We are child-free by choice. This leads into making sure you have aligning goals for the future. If one of us wanted kids, we wouldn't have worked out. You have to be on the same page on how you approach life and what you want. We've been together almost 13 years and we never fought. We disagree and discuss it, but we don't fight. We always remember to approach each other out of love. And if we are having a moment where we don't think we can do that, we take a few moments to ourselves to chill out first. Story 79. 1. I adore her. She is my best friend. 2. We always say please and thank you. If I forget to say it as first instance, which happens, I almost always follow up. 3. We don't take each other for granted. It's a privilege to have someone so special beside me on this journey through life. I'll never take her choice to share her life with me for granted. Story 80. Choose each other every single day. Make the effort. Hold your hand, hug a little longer, date your spouse, laugh, be silly. We have been married 12 years, together 16 next month. Life has put us through heck over and over. He is the best human I know. Story 81. If we didn't have a son, we wouldn't have stayed together very long. But because of our happy accident, we dedicated ourselves to raising him together. We didn't want him growing up in a broken home. In ways, we are certainly not perfect for each other, but in other ways, we absolutely are. Over time, we really built a true love for each other, and we're both so stubborn that neither of us will file for divorce first. We both have baggage, and I think we both feel that we're the only ones that will put up with each other's bullshit. I love her. I always will. I don't know how long it will be together after our son grows up and moves away. He's only 11, but I'd be pretty happy staying with her until I die. I hope she feels the same. Communication is very important, and being flexible. People say don't settle, and I think there's a lot of laziness in that for some people using that excuse. They don't want to put forth the effort it takes to build a strong relationship. The bullshit fairy tale wedding and marriage content fed to us on social media, and the media is largely not reality. In the end, it's really just about going through life with a companion that you can love for all their faults, and they can reciprocate. There is no soulmate. There is no perfect match. There are varying levels of compatibility, course, but life is short. Don't wait too long to claim a forever partner. Story 82. We try to look through each other's perspectives, especially when personality-wise we respond oppositely to situations. We don't stay angry about things overnight. If the situation is big, we agree to take time away from it and love on each other instead. We spar intellectually constantly. If he's not teasing me about something or harassing me in some way, he's super ill, but he expects me to fight back too. If I'm feeling down, he either silently holds me or tries to get me to laugh. We've been through hell together, and even though we fight, we don't let small things get to us when we've been through so much already. We strive to build each other up, even in times we don't talk about it. Story 83. Being stubborn. We are going to make this work out, damn it. Truth is, we both agreed from early on we want to be together. Thick or thin, we face life shoulder to shoulder or back to back. Whatever it takes to get through, we aren't perfect, but we love each other even when things are hard. Story 84. Know that marriage is a decision you will need to make every single day. Some days, most days if you're lucky, will be an easy decision. But there are days, weeks, even years where the choice to remain married will be difficult. Relationships ebb and flow, and sometimes both partners can't give 100. But you have to choose every single day to push through together. The honeymoon phase won't last forever, and things will get ugly. But it's so beautiful when you make it to the other side of a slump together. Story 85. Together almost 13 years, married for 8. I married my absolute best friend. He's the first person I call with good news or bad. We laugh a lot. We go on date nights almost weekly, still have lots of fun in the bedroom, and there's literally no one else I'd rather spend my free time with or go through life as shoot with. Story 86. My mom told me and my wife when we were fighting one day bad and we were talking about splitting up. A marriage ends when one of you stop trying. If you love each other, never stop trying. Keep doing. Things seem stupid now writing it, but it was important for us and we always keep trying to make our marriage better. And after 17 years, this thing keeps getting better. We aren't perfect, but I love my wife more than I ever have each day. She keeps getting better and I'm lucky to have her. Story 87. My wife and I just hit our 10-year anniversary. We really used to have fun, laugh, go out. Of course, people always think about intimacy, but the emotional connection is way more important. Fast forward, we had kids 7 years ago. Having kids changes everything. Think about how you sometimes argue over who is cooking or cleaning over dinner. Now think about the entire house being chaos. Running kids to activities, constantly giving other beings attention. It changes a lot. Luckily, our relationship was strong pre-kids. 3 kids takes a toll. Both sides sometimes give and take. There's days and nights we fight, but normally we shake it off quick knowing that low amounts of sleep or stress is causing us to be off. I feel that there's no secret. Being with the same person for years is work. It's not always going to be happy and fun, but the more work you put into the relationship, the better bond you have. Story 88. There's a lot that goes into it. I'd say it starts with only getting married when you both want to and you've been together long enough to know it's not momentary infatuation. After that, it's putting each other first. I want to make my wife happy, and I'm glad when she is. She feels the same way about me. She wants me to be happy and is glad when I am. Story 89. Be friends and literally enjoy each other's company, including intimacy. Laugh together. Say please and thank you to each other. We've been married 36 years and are best friends. We sometimes go to bed angry, quiet, but that gives us time to think so we can talk it out the next day and apologize to each other. Remember to give each other grace. We hold hands in public. We talk about our first date and how we met and felt about each other and how we still feel. Also be a team. Story 90. I've been with my wife since I was 16. It sounds like a cop-out, but it's a vibe. Early on, we understood how to deal with each other's quirks. Then the trust was built, and now 25 years later, I would bury a body for that girl and her for me. I don't think I'd ever find someone who both understood and tolerated me. We've been through some crazy shoot together, and that only brings us closer together. Story 91. Been married for 15 years, but was in a monogamous relationship together for 10 years before that. So it's like we've been married 25 years. My wife is my best friend. We respect each other. We treat each other as equals. We have empathy for each other. That's all there is to it. Story 92. Say thank you and recalibrate when things are hard. We don't have the same standards for each other that we had 2 years ago. Be flexible and find someone flexible. At any age, you are growing up together. That means embarrassing choices, big life changes, and perspective adjustments. Also, repeat back what they are saying to you sometimes. So you are saying, this helps clarify, then back down sometimes and state what you are doing. I'm going to back down right now because I might have missed something. Lastly, if everything is tough, call a safe word. When either one of us says onion, we stop. The fight stops. That is one of us tapping out, and we will allow this in our relationship. We will revisit. We don't need to fight everything until there is a winner. We need to feel safe stopping and starting a fight. Story 93. Commitment. In a nutshell, that's really what has worked for us for almost 35 years. We've stayed committed to our family and to each other. It hasn't always been easy. In fact, sometimes it's been very hard, but we've been committed to our vows and to stay together. I would say right now, we are almost in a period of almost marital bliss. Work hard, play hard. Story 94. There's a lot of good advice and stuff in here, so I'll go with an unconventional thing I've noticed that has really helped my 20-year marriage is we dislike the same stuff. She didn't love everything I loved and vice versa, but we learned to appreciate each other's likes because we didn't dislike those things outright. Everything is so much easier because neither of us need to do stuff we dislike in order to maintain the peace, so no resentment builds. Story 95. I know and understand that I'm the more mature one who was raised with more common etiquette and social awareness. So I have to be the bigger person and stomach more. If I didn't and I were as immature or stubborn as my wife has been raised to be, we would be divorced by now. The thing is, my marriage and kids are worth the sacrifice, and I'm still relatively very happy with my life. If I were miserable or unhappy, it wouldn't be worth it to me and wouldn't choose the sacrifices I have. Story 96. Been with my wife since 2004, sleeping in separate beds. No reason for us to wake each other up if the other has to get up early or wants to go to bed later. We stay rested and clear-headed and don't carry over any resentment from the other snoring or stealing the covers or something. Story 97. Adding to the being best friends things mutual respect because that truly is number one. But what I've found coming from a 31F with 2 kids under 3, together since we were 19, married 5 years, is consistent intimacy. It sounds so weird saying that, but I've noticed when we're in tune physically and emotionally on that level, we bicker way less and I'm overall happier, more confident. It could be that my love language is touch, but I've also seen it in my friends. When the intimacy bands, the relationship is almost always on its way out. Story 98. My husband and I were just talking about this today because we found out one of our good friends is getting divorced. For us, it's shared values and a commitment to staying together. We've been married for 11 years and together 16. We approach big life things, e.g., spending, saving money, raising our kids, relationships with family, similarly because we have similar values. That doesn't mean we agree on everything 100, because trust me, we don't. But we're not so far apart that there's no hope of reaching an agreement. We are very committed to staying together because we love each other a lot and are best friends. We fight about things, but we're not afraid to because otherwise we just start to resent each other. And then we make up and we apologize and we try to do better going forward. We recognize that we're not always going to agree, but we've gotten better over the years of realizing that neither of us can always be right and it's okay to be wrong as long as we apologize and do better. Relationships are not easy. We've been through some tough stuff, but we made it through together and we are still crazy in love 16 years later. Story 99. 2 big rules. 1, be nice to each other. Things like sarcasm hurt. Being passive-aggressive hurts. Being selfish hurts. Don't do that, shoot. 2, love is not about some secret formula. It's about people who like each other constantly moving toward each other no matter the situation. In an argument, healthy relationships have both people trying to resolve and spare feelings instead of trying to win. In a situation where there is an imbalance, someone is home more so they do more chores, someone earns more money, WT, the other should be thankful for it and try to be an asset to the other in those situations. Bonus, be compatible intimacy. Story 100. Couples counseling, even when things are going well, and we do weekly relationship meetings on our own. We have a standing agenda that's just a time to share peaks and pits of the week, check in on what's coming up next week, and if either of us anticipate needing support, plan our next date night, and check in on a short list of habits we want to maintain as a couple. Story 101. Laugh together. Be the person your spouse comes to with news, good or bad. Have your own interests and hobbies separate from your spouse. If you plan to have children, make sure you have similar values. Hubs and I have been together for 30 years, married for 26. Story 102. So I've been married for 10 years, together for 16. 1, pharmaceuticals. Just kidding, kind of. I mean, definitely get checked out because meds and therapy help for sure. 2, pick someone you really love spending time with, like who you would enjoy having as a best friend and a business partner. Try to be a good friend and a good business partner too. 3, pick someone laid back, yet responsible and honest. Marry someone you trust to have your best interests at heart and be humble and able to compromise. Let small things go. Don't marry someone impulsive, rigid, spiteful, or dishonest. 4, just don't get divorced. This is the biggest one. Make a commitment. Decide that come hell or high water, this is it. Unless this person dies, there will never be another.